Welcome to the iPhoneography Podcast. My name is Greg McMillan, and we have a special edition of the show tonight. We are going to have a guest on. But before we bring him in, let's bring this guy in, the professor. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Doing good, Greg. We are,
Good,
and I know people don't like us talking about the weather, but they're doing good. You know what? Hold on. This is a little behind the scenes. I have the YouTube page open to look at
Yeah.
chat, and it's on like a 2-second delay, and I'm here, and I heard you, so I had to mute the YouTube page, what I didn't do yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, what?
No
why am I
worries.
here? Yeah, it's kind of weird. I know people sometimes get, but we are expected to be above freezing tomorrow for the first time in like weeks, and they're just going crazy here.
Must be nice. Must be
I
nice.
know you got a little bit longer than we do.
Yeah, we do. The groundhog, I know you guys have a groundhog.
Oh,
We got a
yeah.
groundhog
Yeah.
up here too.
Yep.
And I think it said that there was supposed to be an early spring, but
Let's see, ours
who
said
knows?
6 weeks. So
And you know what? From Groundhog Day to spring, that's 6 weeks,
Yeah.
basically.
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, let's bring in a guy from a little warmer climate. And this guy here, hey Dwight.
Hey guys. Yeah, it's a little warmer out here, and I think our guest is in a warm climate as well. And
Yeah, you said it was what, 80 degrees there
yeah,
yesterday?
we're hoping for some cooler temperatures out here. It's been, a little warm.
Well, I'll can some up and I'll ship it down to you. How's that?
That's okay. Keep it up there.
Yeah. Okay, well, without further ado, so this came about because a few shows ago, like before New Year's, we said that, hey, if anybody wants to come on the show, hit us up and we'll set it up. So that's exactly what happened here. And this fine gentleman from actually a stone's throw from you, Dwight, he contacted me and said he'd like to come on. So we're going to come on and hopefully not embarrass him too badly. And it is Mr. Michael
Hello.
Sage. Hey, Mike.
How are you guys?
Hey, Michael.
Good. So you were like literally, what would you say, a 10-minute drive from Dwight?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah.
20 minutes?
Depending on
Yeah.
the traffic.
Right.
Yeah, for
20
sure.
minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or a toll
yeah.
road.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. So you sent me an email. I think it was an email, and said you'd be like to come on the show. So here you are, and we're gonna ask you a couple of questions, and we'll just kind of tangent from there and see where it goes. But first of all, the first thing I like to ask people, and Dwight, you went through this, just kind of say in a tweet, so basically a very short paragraph of just tell us who you are.
Well, I'm Michael Sage. Photography has been a part of my life since probably I was a kid. So, running around with a 110 camera. When I got into high school, we'd be in class and people would say, "What do you want to do?" And I just would say photographer. That did happen. After high school, I went to community college down in San Marcos, California. And from there, I transferred up to Orange Coast College, went through the photography program there, which is a stellar program. Graduated there and worked my way trying to figure out what photography I liked. I worked in wedding photography, family portraits, food photography. I'm going to back up a little bit because when I did graduate from high school, just my last year, I had a friend and his mother was a photographer for the local newspaper, real small town. And she knew I was in photography and she said, "I can't photograph this fashion show, real small fashion show." And she said, "I think you can do it." And of course, I was petrified because I've never shot anything like that. She says, "Just put your camera in these settings and you'll be fine. You'll be fine." So I did it, and the paper really liked my work, and they hired me on as a photographer at 18 years old. So I worked there for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great experience. Your day consisted of, in the morning, maybe going to a breakfast for the Elks Club, the lunch over at another organization to do. They call them a grip and grin, where you have the big check, and they're shaking. From there, I'd go to a school. They may be having like a field day where they're having races and all that kind of stuff. And then from there, in the evening dinner with bingo night. So it was really diverse. And in between there, I would go out and drive out into the boonies and photograph the town's called Fallbrook, and there's a lot of it's very rural, and at that time there was abandoned equipment out in the fields, and so I would photograph that, just anything that interested me, and then they ran these feature shots. So long story short, I probably got my feet wet in photojournalism, and so I did that a lot. And found out I did not like shooting weddings, and or yeah, that takes a
A
special
little bit of
person.
pressure there.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been photography's just been with me all the time, and using a iPhone has just been great.
Yeah. So let's back that
Yeah.
up a little bit. What kind of gear did you shoot with when you were, working? Let's not go, I don't think we need to go all the way back, but I mean, just like in the last 10 years or so before you started with the iPhone, what kind of stuff were you using then?
When I went digital, I started with Canon, and I switched to Sony platform. I still have that
Okay.
because I do some professional work where I need a larger format.
Right. Okay. So let's skip to today. And what's your camera of choice in the iPhone
It's
space?
the iPhone 16 Pro Max.
Ah, so you're in good company with Dave then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are
Let's say-
you primarily using an Apple iPhone now,
Yeah,
Michael?
yeah,
For the most part?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah. So you just bring the Sony out for
Yeah,
more
I do
commercial work, maybe?
interior photography for interior designers, and that's where I usually do that. Or if I'm going to do if I feel like I want to go do some really big like landscape jobs, or just for myself, personal landscape, then I'll bring out that. But other than that, the iPhone is completely sufficient for what I need.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much how we all look at it, eh, guys? Like, I mean, Dwight, you started your photography journey with the phone. And like you, Michael, I started with a 110 camera. So that kind of dates me a little bit too. And I dabbled with a film camera before the DSLR stuff came out. And then first DSLR, Canon. I mean, we're kind of walking down the same
Yeah.
path here. But yeah, I went iPhone only in 2016.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it one bit.
No, it's
But Dave, you never really dabbled with the big cameras, did you?
Not
too
really,
much?
no. I mean, like I said, same thing. Started with the 110, had a disc camera
oh yeah.
from back in the day.
Yeah.
But the first digital camera I had was a Panasonic, just because I was not wanting to invest money, or the interchangeable lenses that you get with the Canon, or the,
Yep.
those ones. Also, it had a nice zoom on it, so it was useful that way in terms of I could pick it up, I could do joint pictures, and not have to worry about this setting here and this setting, and taking a lot of time thinking before the shot, kind of how I take shots now. And then, yeah, eventually it was, well, I got the camera here, which was compact enough you could carry it, and then I had the iPhone, and then it was like, well, the iPhone's just getting better.
Yeah.
And the only thing I really don't have with the iPhone that I have with the other camera is zoom, is optical zoom.
Yeah.
So if I want like a
Yeah.
long away shot, I would need that. But it's like less and less I just carried it, and I haven't used it in years now.
Mhm.
So it's all
Mhm.
iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Michael, another thing that and this is something that has really been interesting to us guys lately is the workflow. Have you developed a specific workflow that you like to go by, or are you still just kind of figuring that out? Because I mean,
Well,
since Dwight's been on the show, he's got me into desktop editing a lot more. I used to do like 98% of it on the phone, but now it's kind of leaning the other way. So what kind of workflow do you have?
so I'm shooting with the Adobe Indigo app.
Yep,
And
Project
yeah,
Indigo,
Project Indigo, and from there I go into Lightroom Mobile. Sometimes I'll shoot with the Reflex app, but I'm editing all mobile.
And that
Wow.
would be, you go right into
Cool.
Lightroom.
Yeah, go into Lightroom, and then from there export out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting
Okay.
to, I'm wanting to, like some of on my Instagram and the images that you've seen, a lot of that I want to print out. So I'm trying to develop a workflow, and maybe Dwight, you can help me with that. But you obviously want to get the highest quality for print. So I'm going in with a RAW or a DNG file in through Lightroom Mobile, and then exporting out as a TIFF or a JPEG, real high.
Are you shooting in Bayer RAW then, the 12 megapixel?
Well, that's why I was curious about that, talking to you, because if I'm shooting going from Adobe Indigo, that's not a Bayer RAW, right? That's a DNG, isn't it?
Yeah, I think.
I would have to shoot
Ooh.
from Reflex, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna confirm that. It's been a while since I've been on Indigo, but I think you're right.
Dave, do you recall the settings on that?
I'm actually, I
can
actually
you do
opened it.
RAW
I
and
actually,
JPEG, or
you can do
It's
RAW.
JPEG plus DNG, so you
Yeah.
have. I think you have two options.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you can do JPEG and you can do combo. So you can save one file with both the raw information, but a JPEG you can view. But I think it's just straight RAW. It isn't bare RAW. So I think they may use.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
it's fair.
trying to see here. Yeah, because I do have. Yeah, it just says JPEG plus DNG. So it does not. I don't think it gives you an option of types of.
I think it is Bayer RAW.
It is?
If you just have RAW.
Yeah, because I'm just shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've
It
got
actually-
a noisy.
well,
It actually.
when you take it into Lightroom, Michael, and look at the profiles, does it fall into Apple Pro RAW? Because if it's a Pro RAW file, it should
Oh,
just
I'll have
fall
to
right
look at
into
that.
that profile.
There's no Pro RAW on Indigo.
Not
I
in
don't
Indigo.
believe.
That's only straight out
Yeah.
of the native camera.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So I'm
Yeah.
I'm going into Lightroom with the one that I just took after shooting in RAW. And I'll see what it says.
Scott Baker says, but is there 30 seconds? I'm sure you're familiar with that one,
Yes.
Michael. Yeah.
Because
Oh,
It just says DNG 12 megapixels, 12.2, 30 by 24.
but the
I
DNG
think this is a Bayer RAW.
DNG
Bayer
does
RAW.
have, it comes in and it's I think isn't that a TIFF, and it has a sidecar file, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can export it as a TIFF,
Yeah,
right?
you can export as a TIFF at
Yeah.
the maximum, highest dimensions, maximum quality. So the file is pretty large. It's, and these images that I'm printing, I'm not looking to do like major wall prints, but if I can get 11 by 14, I would be happy. I don't think that's
Yeah.
unreasonable.
well, I've had prints made from a 6 megapixel iPhone, or no, sorry, 8 megapixel iPhone at 24 by 30,
Wow, that's great.
and they look
Yeah.
good.
You can always upscale it too.
Right. Oh yeah,
Right.
that's also a thing.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy, guys? I've had a photo printed at Walgreens, and it looked horrible. I don't print any of my stuff. I need to start getting into that.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing.
That's
There's something about having a print, and you can just give them away. I'm not even looking to put them in my place.
Yeah.
Just give them away to people,
Mhm.
because I find that
Yeah.
that's really something I enjoy is people that haven't seen my photography, and it's just nice to get the feedback. It really helps out. They see stuff that
Yeah.
you never saw.
Michael, do you use any other third-party editing apps like Visco or anything like that for film looks?
I have.
Okay.
Not really. I'm pretty bare bones, developing highlights, shadows, maybe, color tones and all that. But I know what you're talking about. I have done a little bit of that.
Okay.
What about third-party camera apps that are like special use, like Mood Camera?
No, I know
Anything
you
like
guys have
that?
talked about that a lot. That's something I'm going to be looking into.
Yeah. This picture behind me, it's a winter scene of a waterfall, and it was shot in Mood Camera, and that's 30-inch long print
Oh wow!
from one of those files in Mood, and it was just shot as a JPEG.
Is it-
So,
And that's all printed off of your home printer.
well, no, it was printed on a large format Epson printer. Like, I mean, this thing's huge.
He knew people.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it didn't cost me a cent.
That's the best.
But, no, a friend of
still have
mine.
that same
So
deal?
there's this. Yeah, there's a place in town where it's an old grade school. You guys call it a grade school. We call it a public school. It's an old school, and it's all been converted to. They call it a maker's space,
Oh yeah.
where you can go in and
Mhm.
make stuff. right?
Hmm.
Okay. So in the photography room, a member of our camera club, local camera club here, he's a member of that space up there too. So he was kind of showing us around, giving us a tour, and he said, if you want a print done, bring a file and we'll get a print done. So I brought this file,
Nice.
and I had 2 prints done. I had this one here, and then I had one that was, I think, 26 inches. Or no, this is 36, sorry. I think this is 36. And I had a 30-inch print done, and it's mounted on a plaque, it's kind of a board, and it's downstairs. I'm trying to sell it, but yeah, like printing large from an iPhone there's nothing to it. Like, I don't even hesitate, man. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
Glenn Evans over in the UK made a 72-inch
I
print.
did see that video. That was impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, Glenn Dewis? Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn
A
Dewis.
lot of it is the viewing distance too. I mean, are you pixel peeping or are you viewing it at 3 to 5 feet? That makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure. Dwight, Todd says you got it. You definitely need to print some of your photos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And, just another note on printing is you really get to see how good the shot is when you print it, because you look at on these screens are nice and bright. Our iPhone screens are, nice and bright and show brilliant colors and everything else. But when you print, you get a much better idea of what the photo, like there's a saying, if it's not a print and it's not a photograph until it's a print, otherwise it's just an image. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But so with your phone, I mean, you've sent some images here that were, I believe they're all on your Instagram too. But I mean, hey, why not? Let's dive into one, and kind of talk about the different types of subject matter that you do like to capture. So the first one is, I love this one. I love the tones and everything else in this image. So, maybe just kind of quickly describe, what caught your eye about this and the kind of the process of getting the image.
Well, that was in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, near the Pantages Theater. I was with my daughter, and we had an afternoon show, and then after that, we were looking for some dinner. And this just kind of caught my eye with the arches and then the tree on the right-hand side. And I kind of just waited for somebody to come into the scene. So I guess be street photography, right? And you can see that all my images I sent they're all square format. I really, I don't shoot in 1-to-1 ratio, but I usually will, at the end, I'll crop it into a 1-to-1 ratio. I use composition is key to me. So this is you can see it's got the composition of balance, symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the foundations of composition are really important for people to grasp, even just the basic leading lines, balance, that kind of stuff. You can do a lot with just composition. So this and that color was the night color of the lights. It was really interesting.
I was going to ask you, is that how it actually looked?
It did.
It's a very nice monotone image.
Thank you.
Is this indigo?
It is, yeah. Through
I think indigo really renders night photos beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this because, as you mentioned, there's the composition. You've got negative space on top. I like how that light flows, from the upper right down to your subject. Yeah, well framed. Yeah, I like it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Any thoughts, Dave?
Well, the other thing I like, and I'm assuming this is an older building too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I love the details that the older buildings have architecturally.
Mm-hmm.
Where a newer building, they may say, oh, it's not worth the time or the money to put all the carvings in between the arches and in the triangle part on top. But that just adds to the texture of the photo itself. Yeah. And having this as the blue color because of the lighting, that just completely adds to it. The blue color just makes it, to me, striking.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, now, you know what? I just noticed, because I'm looking on a larger screen up here, the stars down below.
Yeah,
For
Hollywood Boulevard.
The Hollywood Boulevard stars there.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, now I can't unsee them.
Yeah.
Well,
Greg, your name's right there on the right.
I
Yeah.
didn't even notice them. What I like about it is the call it hidden symmetry or buried symmetry, because the symmetry of the arch is it's kind of clouded or surrounded by the tree. There's the canopy on one, and then there's a person in front of the other.
Yeah.
So there's symmetry in there, but it's buried
yeah.
in a lot of other things, and I think that makes it quite
Yeah, I
unique.
see, and I like that because you guys, I see this now. You can have a balance one side with the tree, and
Mhm.
it's almost a contrast, I guess. There's no tree on the left side.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no awning on the left side.
But your subject
Yeah.
balances it out.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, very cool.
And the scale, too, creates a little bit of tension, right?
Mhm.
Big tree, big building, small subject,
Yeah.
light flowing still.
Almost
Yeah.
compresses or contains that person.
Yeah.
It's kinda cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, how did you get started with shooting with a phone? Is it just, was it you wanted to unload on the camera bag, or?
A little both. I mean, it's that old saying, I think, boy, I forgot his name, but it's, the camera you have, right? The camera you have.
Oh,
What was his name? Trey something?
Chase Jarvis? Was it Chase
Maybe.
Jarvis?
But it's that,
Oh,
I just
can't remember.
had, it was the camera that was with me. It wasn't the iPhone that was with me. It was just, that was my camera. So it was convenience.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how it started. And I was tired of bringing a camera with me everywhere. I had Micro Four Third cameras, and that was a little better. But still, then you're dealing with lenses, you're dealing with aperture, you're dealing with shutter speed, you're dealing with all that. And I think for iPhone photography, it kind of strips away a lot of that, so you can focus on capturing the image, not the technical. I mean, still technical, but you're not focused so much on that. So it's been just freeing, I guess. It's nice just to have that.
Yeah.
If you use the right apps, you use the composition that I talked about earlier, you can do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had Rick Salmon on here. Oh, I was probably a couple of years ago, maybe now. And if anybody listening if you're not familiar with Rick Salmon, he's been a pro photographer for years. He was a member of the Canon.
Ambassadors?
Oh, there was an elite, maybe elite, not the right word, but a group of photographers at Canon. Oh, dang it, the name escapes me. But anyway, they were Explorers of Light.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
I do remember that.
And so they were real high end Canon shooters, and then he started using his iPhone. And long story short, Jeff's in the house. Jeff Donald, Explorers of Light. Yes, that's right. So when he started using his iPhone, Canon didn't want him to do that. They didn't want him using his iPhone because it's got a Sony sensor. So he unloaded his Canon stuff and bought Sony stuff. But when I was interviewing him, I said to him, what is there's been a lot of high-end pro photographers using their phones more and publicly putting it out there. So I asked him, what is the draw here? Like, what is the fascination with shooting with iPhones now? For all of you guys that are big pro photographers. And he said it's just so much fun.
Right.
It's the fun part of it. And I mean, a big part of it too is the lack of gear that you have to haul around. Like the biggest thing I have to carry now is my tripod.
Right.
And if I take any lenses with me, chances are I'm just going to stuff them in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so liberating to be able to just take your phone out of your pocket and take a picture. Like, I mean, Dave, you take yours running, right? So. Can you imagine taking a big DSLR?
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally the picture behind me, for those on YouTube, this was this afternoon's run. So, yeah. This was just during a run. And, it's one of those things where, and like I said, if you don't have to focus on the gear or settings or everything, which I know some people love to do. But for me, if you don't have to worry about all that, you can focus on the composition. You can focus on, the scene in front of you
Absolutely.
and get the best scene
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I guess what you could say then, Michael, is that it just so happened to be the camera that you had with you when you needed to take a photo, and it just kind of grew from
Yeah,
there.
and with these apps advancing so quickly, it's really getting to where you just don't need a mirrorless camera anymore
Yeah, for
for
sure.
that kind of photography.
Um,
For, like you said earlier, for commercial work, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this next one, I mean, Dwight, you could probably relate to this.
Hmm.
A beach scene.
Yeah, that's looking south off the pier.
Yeah,
And I like how you
Is
tied
that
that.
is that accurate?
yeah.
Huh?
I should have given you higher res files, man.
I kind of like
Yeah.
it.
Well, YouTube kind of
Oh,
destroys
man,
them.
okay. Yeah, so this is down in Balboa, I believe. And I wanted this look. I wanted this ethereal kind of
Mm-hmm.
misty look. So I just did a lot of different experiments. This might have been with Reheld.
Oh,
This
okay.
might have been with Reheld. That's a great app. I know you guys are very familiar with that, but that's just
Yeah.
a fun,
Mhm.
just a fun app. So the idea was I took many images here, and I was waiting for an interesting pattern to come up of the water coming up on the shore. And then I think this does have a slight tone put on it, a warmer tone. There's a series of 3 of these that I made. And again, it's in that square 1-to-1 ratio format. And what I like to do with these formats is I like to pull things from the corners. You can see in that right-hand lower
Mhm.
corner, I'm pulling that leading
Yeah.
line through the frame up, up into the image, and it just really is pleasing to me. And I do that quite a bit. You'll see on my Instagram that a lot of my images have that something in a corner coming into the frame,
Yeah.
going out of the frame.
Well, it draws the
Yeah.
eye in, right? Into the rest of the image. So yeah.
What I like is it's a little bit sharper down there, and then it just gets dreamier
Yeah.
and dreamier as you kind of move away.
Right. Yeah, and these would look really good as a series of 3, I think, on a wall. It might be like 12 by 12, 10 by 10 even. Just
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you said you may have added some warm tones to that?
yeah, I remember doing that to all 3 of the images and just getting a little
Okay.
bit more warmer tone to it.
Kind of a white
So
balance adjustment.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume Lightroom again?
Yeah, Lightroom Mobile, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I could
Yeah,
even.
that's really cool.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Dave.
I could almost see this if you have a set of 4 photos, kind of where you would make a kind of a larger frame with like a pane almost.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, on one
Or-
sheet of paper or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just cut it in 4s and put one image in each.
Hmm.
Or if you want to do like a Warhol almost, take the
yeah.
one photo and
Mm.
then just put different tints and put that in a 4x4 square.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just change the hue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it has
'Cause it
this
has that-
overall yellow feel to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, and it has that abstract look to
Mhm.
it too. I mean, you could see what it is. I mean, you can see that it's water coming up on a beach, but it has a real abstract appearance to it, which, really gives it an artistic flair for sure.
Yeah. My dentist, he's a surfer, and this is the kind of stuff that he puts in his office. It's calm, it's peaceful. People are stressed out, but they're looking at these
Mhm.
nice, soft images and stuff. This
Yeah.
is the kind of stuff he
Yeah,
likes.
Dwight, that's exactly kind of where some of my images, I see them in that type of setting where
Yeah.
in a lobby, in a doctor's
Mhm.
office. And
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Hook them up, Dwight. You might get some
Yeah,
commission.
there you go.
Yeah.
Let's call your
I
dentist.
sure spent enough money on at the dentist's office. So
Yeah.
yeah, he owes me one.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so then we got a black and white, and I mean, I've been interested in black and white a lot more over this winter than I've ever been. I think so. I really like the look of this one.
This was on a drive to Oregon during Thanksgiving. My son was driving at the time, and I was in the passenger seat. We were going over a bridge. So this is actually taken, going over a bridge again through the Adobe app, and
Mhm.
this there's just several things that I really like about this image. First of all, you have the parallel lines that are repeating in that pattern. Obviously, the sky with these crisscrossing clouds. But one of my favorite parts of this is that cloud in the foreground, or right in the center there, that's almost mimicking the mountains in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's like
I
it's
love
tracing
this.
off of it.
I have printed this out. I had my stepbrother print this out, and it came out really nice. And then you have this billowing cloud coming in from the right hand side. So this was fun. I really enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites.
Is this a high bridge? So is this fog?
This is it. Yeah, this is fog. This has got to be.
Yeah, that's
It was.
I'm a sucker for
Oh
fog. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's yeah.
This was in the early morning.
And if you look at the top there, towards the right on the top of the fog, the darker area almost looks like a wave breaking this way.
Oh yeah. Coming from
Yeah,
a
really.
surfer, I can see.
Yeah. I'm thinking I don't want to be on my board in front of that wave.
No.
So when you edit black and white, what kind of approach do you take? Do you like convert it
Yeah.
and then work with
There's
channels?
two
Or
ways. You on Lightroom Mobile, you can just go to color and flip the little dip switch there and turn it to black and white. That's a good
Mhm.
starting point. Or you can pull down all the saturation out. I've done that, and then also you can go. Sometimes I'll do it black and white, and then I'll go into each channel, color channels,
Mm-hmm.
and play with
Yeah.
those because you have your blues and your reds. Coming from old school photography where you would use filters on the front of your lenses to darken the sky. Your red filters, orange and yellow. That's the concept, is that you would play with these sliders, and it would affect different tones of the image. So that's kind of how I approach it. It's a lot of, like you guys know, it's a lot of playing and see where you're going. And I don't try to do too many global adjustments or overdo it.
Yeah.
Subtlety and a lot of playing.
Yeah, Michael,
Yeah.
I've kind of come up with a process to convert my black and whites, and it's using a panel. It's a TK9 series, but
Mhm.
I think it's called the TK Mixer.
Yeah.
And then it's got all the color channels there, magenta, blue, red. And I just click through them and see which one I like,
Yeah.
as a starting point. And then it's got these special sliders that keep the Photoshop sliders, it keeps them at 100%, which is what you want. But you work, between the yellows and blues, and you can see the original picture and say, okay, there's some red there. I
Mhm.
want to darken that. So you go to the magenta slider and move it away from it. I mean, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
We can walk through that sometime if you
Yeah.
want.
That's exactly it.
Dave, quick question for you on this. Have you used Snapseed much lately? And if so, is there not some pretty good black and white tools?
There are, yeah. Yeah, there are, and they do even have the different filters that kind of mimic.
I thought there was, but I wanted
Yeah,
to
so
make
you
sure.
can actually put in like a red filter, green filter, or dark sky
Yeah.
filter. And one thing Snapseed's added recently, not only a complete change of the user interface, but they actually added film simulations.
Yeah, I noticed that the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can just try different film simulations they have set up automatically. And
Yeah.
it seems they have changed it. It's kind of bumped up a little bit, so it's it's higher than it was, and there's a lot more control, but it's not quite Lightroom or on that level, obviously. But it does give you a lot more control than it used to, including it gives you now the ability to do spot edits, where before you could
Yes.
just do this general area, but now you can select areas, which makes a big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good for a free program
yeah.
or a free app.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's one of the old ones.
But I was
Yeah, I just
oh,
played
man.
with it. I just did it, Dave. So you can go in and go to black and white, and then you can pick the channel as a
Mhm.
starting point. But then I think the adjustments are global though. Like if you want to change brightness, contrast, or grain, it's not working within a specific channel or color. It's global, which is fine. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so old, Michael, that I actually paid for Snapseed back in the day.
I may have too.
Mhm.
And I know what we all have these app addictions. I know, Dwight, you've confessed already.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
Maurice
and I've gotten
says,
to the point where when I take a picture of something, a photo, I'm taking it with 5 different apps.
Right.
It's driving me crazy. It's driving my family crazy. It's driving everybody crazy.
Maurice in the chat says he doesn't do a ton of black and white, but he's had some fun results with an app called Carbon on the iPhone.
Yeah, I've
A
got
lot
that
of
one.
black and white variations.
Yeah, that's
No,
fun.
you don't have that one, Dwight.
Oh, of
Come on.
course I do.
I think I do too. Oh. And Dale Latherington's in the house all the way from Australia. He's in his late 30s. Still got a long way to go to catch up to me, buddy. He had his iPhone fixed to a tripod in a dark room set to night mode max. Who would have known?
Well, Greg, I think he's saying he's 30 seconds late.
Oh, 30 seconds late.
To the podcast.
I scanned over that too quickly.
Yeah. with the 30-second joke, of course.
I still
Yeah,
don't get
yeah,
that
okay,
30-second
I
joke.
gotcha,
I just let
I
you guys
gotcha.
roll it. I don't even know what that is. Oh,
The 30 seconds late?
For the 30-second
he's
joke.
He's referring back to Scott's thing here, but is there 30 seconds? Actually, it's not just Scott, though. It's the Bloody Legends admin conversations. They always throw that in.
For the 30-second
But I
exposure,
digress.
the night exposure for
Right.
30 seconds. Somehow it started on a Unchanged channel
on Shane,
where
yeah.
someone was like, how you could do a 30-second exposure.
Right.
He just kept on being
Yeah.
asked it over, and then it just became an inside running joke.
Yeah. Is that like a
Well, here's a
limitation on the iPhone or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, here's a fun fact. Jeff Donald says Snapseed was originally made by MacFun and only on iPhone. Google needed an editor and bought it. The MacFun people, they went on to make Luminar, and I use Luminar Neo and love it. I love that program. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that it was a MacFun product prior to Google buying it. That's really interesting. So thanks for that tidbit, Jeff.
Mhm. I know Google bought it. I didn't know who from, but I know Google did. It wasn't something developed originally by Google.
Right, yeah. Yeah. So next we have this really interesting cloud formation.
So Dwight, does those mountains?
Saddleback.
Yep,
Is that Saddleback?
that's Saddleback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Saddleback Mountain.
Where are you? Are you by T. Harris Creek?
No. Actually, this was on a walk in the early morning, and
Okay.
I just saw this cloud formation. I thought that is really unique. That at first I didn't see it, but after looking a little bit, I just saw it's interesting how that cloud is just kind of. To me, it looks like it's just kind of like coming down.
Looks like it's corkscrewing.
Yeah, and so I love this image too. I do so the foothills. I darkened all the foothills as dark as I could get them. Just use that as a shape. And when I do editing or processing, I will remove things to strengthen the image. I don't have a problem with that.
Distractions and stuff.
Distractions, if it
Yeah.
it just it's about the image. It's not, we're not shooting photojournalism where you have to have there's ethics involved. So I don't mind. I'll darken things, remove things to strengthen the image. But yeah, this one is another one of my favorites.
You got me really interested in the square shooting now.
Yeah,
I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah, what I like about square shooting is it gives me a confinement. It gives me a constraint to work in. I could shoot directly from the iPhone in a 1-to-1 ratio, but I typically will crop later. And I'll shoot wider, and then I'll crop.
Yeah, it gives you more of an opportunity to adjust your or composition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Will says that he loves your images, Michael. Composition and simplicity seem to be a focus.
Absolutely. That's absolutely it. Keep it simple. You can really overthink it, but if you stay to the foundations and basic composition, you can't go wrong. And if you don't force it, if it's not there, just move on. It's
Yeah,
That's
what's
the
nice
beauty
is
with the
your
iPhone.
eyes not your eyes not darting all over the place trying to figure it out. It's just like boom, and it makes sense.
Yeah, and like you said, this it's right in the middle there, but that's the way this image works.
Mhm.
Using rule thirds would work for a different image.
Mhm.
Well, with the shape of the foreground kind of offsetting, you're higher on the left side, lower on the right side,
Mhm.
that kind of takes the monotony away from the cloud coming down the center of
Yeah.
the frame. It kind of breaks that up. It releases that visual tension that might be there otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think any more of the mountain range would have been less interesting as well. So I think you
Mhm.
kind of broke that rule of third a little bit, right? You're not actually on
Yeah,
you're close, but
close,
you're
but
not actually on the third.
no.
But I think it works. This is more like central
Yeah.
composition to that cloud.
Yeah, and you need that balance,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
levity on the
That's well balanced.
Yeah.
And there's a tinge of color contrast there with the blue sky in the background, and the clouds they're kind of a pinkish orange color, but that orange tone in them, they play on each other with the blue and the orange. Like those two colors really, really jive, in the composition. So I think that kind of makes it really visually pleasing as well.
Yeah, I've got some really
And-
nice.
and-
I'm sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I've got some really nice sunrise photos over that range as well.
Yeah.
Because when I walk in the morning, I walk along the T. Harris Creek Trail just above it, and it's just right there.
Yeah, it's stunning some mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're saving me a ton of work, Michael, by putting these square ones in here, because when images are not square for the podcast player, I have to put them through in Pixelmator Pro. I give them like an invisible background and make a PNG file out of it, so that when it plays in the podcast player, they show correctly. Because in Apple Podcasts, it used to display the images correctly no matter what. But then when a certain update came through, I think it was iOS 17, when that iOS version came out, it completely smashed that whole thing. Everything, like if it was a vertical image like this, the podcast player would stretch it out to square.
Mm.
Well, good.
And I put that report in. I was on betas, and I put that report in 2 or 3 times, and they never fixed it. I'm afraid to try one now to see if it would even work, because I don't want to have it, go out in an episode and not be right.
Yeah.
So I always make them square, and I just have the background invisible with the image in there. But now I don't have to do all that.
I'm glad it
These
worked out.
ones. Yeah, it worked out great.
I never knew that, Greg. So I'll try to do more square shots for you.
Well, it does. It's not it's not a huge deal. I've got a workflow down pretty good. I'm even trying to think of an automated way to do this. So
Oh
if
wait,
anybody's
you're
listening
retired,
and
so I'll keep you loaded up.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm
Um,
sure there's a shortcut you can create that would do that too.
There probably is. The trick would be importing the image into a Pixelmator Pro file, and then have it line up in the center, up and down, and
Mhm.
just I don't know.
I get,
One of these days I might try to
You know
figure
what?
it out. But
I mean, try putting asking like ChatGPT or Google Gemini, saying, "Here's what I want to do. I'm on an iPhone. Can you write an automator script or a
Oh, yeah.
shortcut script that would use
Mhm.
this?" And you'd be surprised how this is the vibe coding that everyone's talking about. It'll give you a script that you can give it a try and see if it'd work or not. And it gets you
Alright,
like
maybe I'll-
90% of the way there.
yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks. Dave's our AI expert.
I'm the AI. What would you say?
Curmudgeon?
Curmudgeon.
I think it has its uses for sure.
Oh,
but,
I haven't found one yet.
yeah. So here's another, like a low key black and white. This is interesting.
Yeah. So this was in downtown Los Angeles. I think it's near the image of the first one, the purple blue one. My daughter caught this eye. She's creative as well, and so I think she started photographing it. And I said, "Oh wow, I like that too." So again, I darkened the sky. Obviously, it went black with the sky, and I did shoot it I do have it processed in color as well, which is also nice, but I just graphically, I think it works better with all the triangles,
Mhm.
uh, to do it in black and white. And again, the square format, pulling leading lines from the corner, is there again.
Michael, this is awesome.
No,
I
thank
mean,
you.
this
Are the
is. Go ahead, Nate.
I would say, are the triangles the way the building's shaped, or are they shadows?
No, I think it's part of the design of the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this honestly, if you would tell me this is some kind of illustration that was produced in the mid 50s for a building they're going to build, I would totally believe it. Because
Yeah.
think about the way they had mid-modern, like, "Oh, this is gonna be our Tower of the Future" type thing,
Yeah.
and this looked like that kind of illustration they would produce. And like I said,
I mean,
very striking.
Well, thank you.
the symmetry, it just caught me right away. I mean, you've got it coming up out of both corners on the bottom, and it looks relatively centered. You know, almost looks like there's artwork that you're shooting through in
Oh, I
front of
can
this
see that. Oh,
building.
yeah. This is
Now,
the corner. This is the corner of the building, so you're looking straight into the.
that's probably a shadow from another building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Michael, did your daughter say, "Hey, check that out"?
I I can't remember exactly, but I think she had something to do with it. She's got a great
Because
eye.
one of my favorite shots of in downtown LA was when my son, we were over by the what's that thing that goes up and down?
Where is it?
Downtown LA.
Oh, the red car,
It's
right? The
it's
Angel's
in the
Flight.
movie
Angel's Flight.
Angel's Flight.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find something, and nothing's working. And my son looks at me and goes, "Dad, look up." And that's when I saw the Wells Fargo bank building, and it was just boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to look up
Yeah.
and look behind you.
She probably did. She's got the eye.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is cool. And it matches your attire, Michael.
Yeah, I went with the artist black on it.
Yeah, and the use
Well,
of
you
negative
think
space here, you're not afraid to use negative space, and I love this.
Yeah, that's another
Oh,
part
yeah,
of composition is you don't have to fill the frame with everything. That negative space
Yeah.
is super important. Yeah, I mean, composition is obviously you want light, right? Light is
Mhm.
photography, but composition is so useful and so powerful.
Yeah, because I've taken
Yeah.
really bad photos, throwaways, and then I go, "You know what? Let me just try this," and then, whoa, right? So, yeah.
And the minimalistic approach to your compositions are really
Thank you.
cool.
Mhm.
I do I do kind of go to that kind of look, the minimalist, simple look. So I do have some images where it's just looking out at the ocean. It's just a horizon and a very muted sky. You know, it gives
Mhm.
it's simple, but it's also powerful at the same time. It has a emotion to it,
Yeah, there's room to breathe.
room to breathe. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what I like about the square format, and with photography and iPhone photography, it's you can control this little world that you have. So you can make it darker, lighter. You can bring in lines into the corners across the frame. You have this little playground that you can make your own.
Mhm.
I've always enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's cool stuff. So do you use any accessories like, lenses or anything like that, or are you just strictly
Native, pretty much a native.
native
Yeah.
everything?
I would like to check out the reflex camera, the lenses, and I know they have a whole series of different lenses. And
Yeah.
also, you can get into filters. So I'm not
Mhm.
opposed to that. I just haven't really gone down that road yet.
Yeah, they just came out with a new macro lens. It's an update, I guess you could say, to their long range macro or their 75 millimeter macro. So, you know, some people, I saw a comment, I think it was in their Facebook group where somebody said, "Well, what is it, 2x?" And they said they came back with a response that said they don't measure it by, the magnification. They just measure it by the focal length. So it's good for between 50 and 80 millimeters. So I think 75 millimeters was probably, just a number that came up that when they made their first one, I guess maybe that's the sweet spot. I don't know, but it's like their macro add-ons to the 240 millimeters. You got the 20 or 200 millimeter and the 300 millimeter. So that's 20 centimeters distance, focal distance, and 300 focal distance. And it's Craig says beautiful work. Yeah, thanks, Craig. Thanks for joining in. And you know what? This is the most viewers we've had online, I
I
think.
was just going to say that we've never had this activity in chat before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, Michael, you're going to have to come on again.
It'd be my pleasure. I would love to.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, lenses, the worst part about it is that when you buy something like that, when you buy some kit like that, you want it to last for years. But the problem is the phones change, right? The phones change, maybe not so much over a 2 or 3 year period, but going beyond that, they tend to get they tend to get to the point where maybe some of the lenses don't work. And I ran into that way back in the mid 20-teens when I started getting, my first set of Moment lenses. And then what was it? The iPhone, I think it was the 10S Max when I got it. Or maybe it was when I got my 12 Pro Max. The optics changed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's a combination of, the lens elements and perhaps the ever so small distance between the outside of the lens and the sensor even would make a difference, right? When that changes to a certain degree, if something's developed for the way it started out and then all of a sudden it changes, then your lenses are going to be obsolete. And what happened with mine was there was vignetting in the corners and it was really noticeable.
Yeah.
So then off a moment they realized that, so they brought out the second version, and then they were great, for a few years. And I think they're actually on their third version. And Dave's been playing around with them a little bit, and
I have their latest series, the G series, I think.
Right.
The G series is the reflex, yeah.
Moment.
With the Moment, is it T series?
T series. That's what I have.
Yeah.
You have the T series as well, Dave?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
And then I have the reflex 240 millimeter with the macro clip-ons. Those are awesome. And Michael, if you ever want to connect, we go out and shoot with those and see, check it out if you want.
Oh yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah, and be careful with that though, because once you see what they can do.
I know. That's the thing. Now I'm back to carrying a bag with gear in it. Yeah.
Well, I've got they called it the tech bag. Now, it came with these little places where you can put the lenses or whatever, but it didn't hold all of them. I forget what it was like even originally. So I took all that out of it, and I got this foam, and I made cutouts for all the lenses that I have, and the filters fit in a pocket in the lid that flips up. And so I can, if I wanted to, I can take 6 lenses with me and the filters that I have. But generally I don't carry all that because that's slinging a bag over my shoulder that I really don't want to do. And I wouldn't use them all anyway.
Yeah.
Like I would rarely use the fisheye, but generally what I will take is the telephoto, the super telephoto, the 240, and probably the wide angle and the macro add-ons for the big lens too. And that would be it. That would all fit in the 2 or 3 pockets.
That's not too much.
So I'm still packing light. And I would love to get a decent small camera bag that would be.
I haven't found one, Greg. I've looked everywhere. Moment does not have one. I got one from Reflex. Yeah. It was a little. I think I had the same problem you did.
Yeah,
but I haven't found one yet.
But say for things like that, sometimes a thrift store. You find a bag that was originally something else, maybe, but it works perfectly for what you need.
Because maybe even
that's a good idea.
Maybe even a tackle box, with the clear lid and the compartments.
Or if you want something you can carry. Yeah, or if you want something, carry around a fanny pack.
That's what I was saying. You can always go with the
Yeah.
old fanny pack.
Going back to the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. I always visualize The Rock standing there with his fanny.
Did you wear yours on the side, Greg, or in the back, or where'd you wear yours?
I don't even have one.
If you're a photographer, it's not called a fanny pack. It's a gear bag.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I was going to show this from Jeff as well. When Apple starts making bigger sensors, you're using bigger sensors, they won't be 17 millimeter mount. Yeah, the Reflex and Sandmark, and Jeff really knows his stuff here because he used to work in an Apple store. But there's a few different manufacturers that use that 17 millimeter mount for mounting the lenses on. Like there's mine.
Sandmark is the other one, right?
Sandmark, yeah.
Mhm.
So there's my reflex case, and the wide and the telephoto cameras have a 17 millimeter. I know it's hard to see here, but they got the 17 millimeter threads in the mounts there, and that's what mounts the lenses on. And it's a pretty nice generic way of doing it. You know, it's nice that, and a lot of the rigs, you know, like that small rig makes and things like that, those have 17 millimeter plates on them. So, you know, you can use different lenses. If, you know, not everybody's going to use the same lens. So, but if they're 17 millimeter, which is a common mount, then, you know, those rigs for doing video and stuff are great for the lenses that you have, right? And, you know, the moment they've got their own rig that they've made, it's actually pretty cool because it has some stuff that are built into the rig that, I can't remember how it all works now, but if you go to Moment's website, you'll be able to see it. I believe it has some stuff in there that are, you know, maybe controls or something, like touch controls on it. I can't remember, but I was going to say, just be careful, Michael, if you start borrowing a couple of lenses from Dwight, that you're going to get the bug.
Yeah, I know.
Especially that long range macro for me is my favorite. I love that thing.
I've heard nothing but good stories about those lenses.
Yeah, Greg, as a former tool designer, I've been tempted to design my own cage and future-proof it, right? So, you know, everything's X and Y on those things. So why did people have to buy a whole new system, you know, if the lens location changes? You know, have the plates interchangeable, but be able to adjust everything and then just lock it in, you know, for the new phones.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And especially with the ability of 3D printing things, you could definitely, you know, not only design it, but mostly inexpensively,
you can do
a 3D print and do it out. Yeah,
you can do fit, form, and function with 3D print. Yeah.
Yeah. Will Newcomb says mobile camera bag. He bought a Bellroy sling bag for wireless mics, filters, and gimbal without being big and cumbersome. That's interesting. Bellroy. Yeah. I had to check that out.
Now the question is that available over here or because Will's located?
I'm not sure because he's in China, right? So
no, it says designed in Australia. So they can probably ship it to the U.S. over here. It's just a matter of...
Dale, any insight on that if you're still there? Yeah. So, well, any tips that you might have, Michael, that might help anybody? Like anything that you maybe haven't heard that us talk about on the show? Any tricks of the trade that you might have that could help people?
Maybe
improve?
not tricks of the trade, but I think what I would tell people if they want to get into iPhone or mobile photography is learn basic composition, and you have the room to experiment with iPhone photography or phone photography because it's digital. You can delete it, you can experiment, and you learn a lot by just screwing up. So learn basic composition and practice. And I hear people say, well, I'm not creative. I don't have a creative bone in my body. I don't know if I really believe that, because I think if people just learn the basics and let themselves experiment, they're going to find that it's fun and they're going to be happy with some of the results that they do get.
Yeah. I can attest to the fact that everybody is creative in some way or
Absolutely.
another. And the reason I can say that is because of last fall, our local camera club got together with another camera club in a town about a half an hour away. We had a joint meeting, and it was more like a presentation than it was a meeting. A lady came up from a couple hours down the line, a photographer, and she came up and put on a presentation, and it was all about how everybody has creativity. And the way she presented that was she asked a series of questions. And, you know, I think everybody had to say after all these questions and people's responses, yeah, everybody has a certain level of creativity. It just works in different ways. So that I found that to be very interesting. But your images, Michael, are very inspiring. I too want to start looking at square crops and maybe even change the iPhone camera to square
Yeah.
and try shooting with
Right.
that
I
right
mean,
from the
that
get-go.
would just give you the restriction right there and just work within those boundaries.
That's more of a
Yeah.
challenge, Greg, because now you have no room to work with in post, changing your composition. It's going to force you to get closer to what
Yeah.
you're really looking for.
That's what I found.
Yeah. Dave, you've gone to the 16:9 ratio in
Yeah,
the Apple
that's
camera.
right.
What
Yeah.
about the square? Have you used it at all? Like very much?
Somewhat, but it really depends on the subject.
You're right. Yeah.
Because like the picture behind me, I really wanted to have the length of the
Yeah.
tracks kind of going from left to right. But
Yeah.
I've done square where I felt, having that confined feel, and it really worked out. But a lot of times I'll either take it in 16:9 or 4:3 and then crop it when I'm editing
Mhm.
too. Because it's more
Yeah.
of when I'm taking the photo, like I said, there's something that we discussed before is that when I'm taking the photo, I have an overall feel for when I take it, but I don't take a lot of time because a lot of times it's when I'm out doing something that I see the photos. I don't necessarily,
Yep.
I'm going on a photo walk, I'm going running around, I'm doing something literally running around, and oh, wow, that's something I really want to take a picture of. Click. And then I deal with it after the fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's definitely plenty of times and places where square format fits in.
Oh, yeah.
And so, well, Michael, it's been a pleasure. Don't leave the call when we're done here because we usually hang around for a few minutes.
Mhm.
But it's been great to have you on. And if anybody's listening and or watching on the YouTube channel, if you want to come on the show like Michael just did, by all means, get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us on our Facebook group, or let's see, if you go to my website, there's a contact thing in there. You can contact me directly that way. But there's always a way to get a hold of one of us and let us know you're interested, and we'll set something up. Well, I do have another guest ready to go, so hopefully maybe on the next show, we'll see how the schedules line up. But this is great. We love having people on, hearing the story, looking at their images. And I think other than your Instagram, Michael, is there any place else that you're online?
No, it's pretty much just I have the Instagram. There's Mike Sage at Mike Sage Photo. That's the stuff that we
Mhm.
went to tonight. And then I have more interior design work, and that's at Michael Sage Photo on Instagram. And then I
Okay.
do have, if you go to michaelsage.com, that is more of a website. It's a website. So,
Okay. All right. Well, I'll put the link to all those in our show notes and people can have a look. And I think the only place I looked so far was the one where we saw these here. So I'll be interested to see your interior work and all that stuff too. But thanks again, Michael. We really appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on.
thank
And
you for having me on. and
Thanks so
it's,
much for coming.
job.
I'm a listener
Good
and
job.
watcher regularly, and
well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
you guys have been
We
very
love that.
hospitable. I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome anytime for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks everybody in the chat for joining in. And I guess on that note, we'll see everybody in the next one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Have a great one,
Thanks.
everyone.